You meet a lot of fine people in this line of work. Most of them are just looking for a friendly ear to listen. Others look like they're listening, but not with the option of getting to know you. Rather, they're waiting for the right moment to stick a knife between your ribs. And the problem is, I ain't figured out which one you are yet.
You lose again, Caleb. Care to go 9 out of 10?
How did you do that?
Skill, cunning, and never underestimating the stupidity of my opponent. No offense, Caleb.
Don't you think you better quit, Caleb? You already owe the sheriff several rounds of orange shrub.
I have not yet begun to fight.
And you haven't yet begun to drink either. You lost every round, so you're buying the ardent. Your ship's going down there, John Paul Jones.
Well, I'm upping the ante. Anyone can play for a round of Arden. Now we're playing for all of this.
Vevey banknotes? Caleb, those things are worthless.
Seems a mite cold in here.
Nice to see you again, Frederick. We've been worried.
You haven't been around here much lately.
I've been busy getting ready for the New Orleans trip.
You, Jacob and his son, still working on the boat?
When we can.
When you can, I thought you'd be finished by now.
With our days shorter, our building time's limited.
Darkness didn't stop Commodore Perry, Frederick. He built an entire fleet by fire and candlelight.
He was fighting an enemy. His life and others depended on it.
Sometimes the enemy isn't so obvious, Frederick. Sometimes it's ourself.
I need to be going.
Going back to the boat, Frederick?
That's my affair, not yours.
You don't need that tone with me. I try to stay out of people's business unless they're committing a crime. But something's not right with you, Frederick Golay, and I'm going to come right to the point. What are you doing with that woman over at the Shikun Saloon?
Am I breaking the law?
That depends on whose law you're referring to.
Are you placing me under arrest?
For what, Frederick?
I need to be going.
Oh, what tangled webs we weave.
That boy was in a lather.
Joseph Bosso! I thought you had left town again in search of some profit downriver.
It's a bit too chilly for that, Sheriff. Since hell will not yet have me, I thought I would seek a bit of warmth in this establishment.
Then take a seat by the fire, my friend. It'll get you ready for that final destination.
Expecting somebody else, Frederick Golay? Come inside. Close the door. She's not here.
Who would that be?
You are no good at lying, Frederick Golay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The weakness of the gullible. Your inability to accept your fatal flaw. Trusted folks. You trusted her with a lot of money that you'd been hiding from your wife. While you hid that money, you were buying up produce on credit. Dreams of making a huge profit, selling down in Natchez on the Hill in New Orleans.
I wanted to help find her husband.
Well, and so you have. Right here.
You?
You have the look of future prosperity written all over you, Frederick Golay. Remember me telling you that once? Well, now you're going to pay and pay.
I don't have any money.
It's true. We already have it. But you're going to get us more. Lest I start spreading some stories about you. A married man carrying on with another man's wife.
I wasn't carrying on with anyone.
I know that. But do you think your neighbors will believe that? Especially once all the tongues on the street start wagging.
What do you want then?
Take your trip down Natchez under the hill. When you get there, ask about me. Your flatboat companions be well taken care of. It'll be quick, you have my word. I keep the profits, and you get to return home with harrowing tales about how you alone survived the perils of the river.
I won't do that.
Yes, you will. Stay here and think on it a while. Room is already paid for, after all. Or better yet, think about it tonight when you're laying next to your wife. You'll never be able to look over your shoulder, Frederick Golay, without knowing I'm there.
Sheriff, I've been robbed.
Robbed? When did this happen?
Sometime this morning. I came into town on business. I got back to my house, and all of my watches were gone.
The ones displayed in the window.
Well, I have no others.
Well, who was the last person out there?
I haven't had anybody at my shop in weeks. The last person that was there was Mr. Levi, but he left town shortly after that.
He's back. I saw him earlier over at the livery stable by the Shikoon. He said he had some business to attend to and then was going to ride over to Madison to catch the steamboat.
Riding to Madison to catch a steamboat? Did that make any sense to you, Joseph? You could have caught one right here.
I don't make it a habit to pry into other people's business. That's what's kept you and I friends for all of these years.
Yeah, that's true. You and I have been through a lot, most of which we don't discuss with other folks, but through all of it, I always believed you to be honest. But now I'm asking you, are you?
I guess there comes a time when a man has to look in the mirror and ask himself why he doesn't like what he sees there.
What kind of company are you keeping, Joseph?
The kind that says they're taking a walk in the country before going to collect a debt at the Shikoon.
My horse is outside. I'm riding to Madison.
I'll ride with you, Mr. Bolins. I'm the one that brought him here after all. I guess I should have known better.
I'm deputizing the both of you. You bring him back here.
Joseph, you might want to look in that mirror again.
We're not having any of this. We have a legal system for a reason.
Don't get yourself worked up, Judge. Where'd you find him?
He was trying to get across Indian Cane Tuck Creek.
Where's Joseph Bousseau?
I doubt he'll be coming back. At least not for some time. It's not his style. But he kept his promise.
Judge, I want justice. These were in his saddlebags. These are my missing watches.
I'd say you're in a mighty tight spot, my friend.
To paraphrase what you once said to me, Sheriff, name's Abraham Levi, not friend.
I admire gallows humor in a man.
Sheriff, I want him arrested, and I want him placed in your jail. And then I want him taken to court, and I want him placed in front of Judge Stevens.
What's wrong with you hearing the case?
No, I'm just the justice of the peace. This is a matter for a higher court.
Judge Stevens is the only high court judge we got, Abraham Levi. But I admire that gallows humor in a man, too, so I might as well warn you. He was in the lower country, just like you and Joseph Bousseau and me, but unlike us, he took a British musket ball upside his head on the 8th of January. Ain't been right since. Oh, he's mighty mean-tempered, too.
He has a point, Caleb. Judge Stevens may not be in his right mind next session. Who knows what punishment he might dish out?
Well, I can't make that call. None of us can. But you can, Mr. Levi.
I'll take my chances with you, Rubes. Justice of the peace can't do anything. You don't have any authority.
You're correct. I don't. But you do. Bring Mr. Levi 2 bottles of your best wine.
Well, I guess you bumpkins aren't as stupid as I thought.
That's wise, Abraham Levi. You see, we learned a long time ago never to underestimate the stupidity of our opponent.
Take him outside.
The boys took Abraham Levi out back, stripped off his coat and shirt, and tied him to a fence post. He was then given some wine to drink, and when he'd finished, the sheriff laid on those stripes right on his bare back. And when the sheriff finished, he poured the rest of the wine over those open wounds. We gave the other bottle of wine to Abraham Levi so he could remember where he got those stripes. He was then told, get on his horse, ride so we never see him again. Last time I saw him, he was riding like a man possessed. But Joseph Bolins would see him again. On a trading voyage to New Orleans, Joseph noticed a man in a hotel lobby that looked rather familiar. That man quickly exited. Upon going to another hotel, Joseph saw the same man. It was then he realized it was Abraham Levi. And from that moment on, Joseph Bolins went about heavily armed. And it wasn't until he got back to Vevey that he stopped looking over his shoulder. As for Frederick, well, none of us know.